Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare here again with you on the 6th of August, 2024. I'm joined as usual by our endurance psychic medium, Liz Cross. How are we doing today, Liz?
You forgot what I did, didn't you? I'm surprised you're able to broadcast. Aren't you like in flames? Isn't your town being burnt down?
No, 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 we're not in flames at the moment, which is good. Um, So this was an emergency. I don't normally do readings with Liz on this day. I used to do Tuesdays, but we don't do Tuesdays anymore. And I got a message from her. Can we do an emergency broad one on Elon Musk and Kier Starmer, the current Prime Minister, two-tier Kier as he's now being known. That's
I knew
such a
you
great
were gonna
name.
say it. I knew you were gonna say it.
Well, it's true. I mean, he there's a meme going round now, which he'll never get rid of because it's true. You see, most jokes, most memes and things like that are based on the truth. That's what makes them so good. So anyway, Elon Musk apparently has been rattling everybody. Well, they haven't been rattling. I mean, that again, I hate mainstream news. I hate the Daily Mail. Um, it seems to me now that Twitter X is the only platform where news, real stuff. I mean, it never used to be. It was really bad, but now, Musk is allowing free speech on it, which is not allowed anywhere else. Google, YouTube, Facebook, suppressing everything. And the problem is that, Elon Musk is only saying things. I've got to get this out here. Maybe they're not shouting, maybe they're not protesting, maybe they're not, they're getting on, but this is what they're thinking. This is, there's a phrase, what's the talk around the water cooler? Whatever good work that Labour thought, or Labour, whatever promises that Labour came to power with, and they came to power with the lowest vote ever, and most people just didn't vote, and there was a backlash against the Conservative Party. But for whatever thing they came out with, within 30 days, Labour have lost everything. This guy is toast. I mean, he is. I think you wanted to start with Elon, did you?
Yeah, we can start there. We can.
Okay. Let's grab Elon, and we need to grab two Kier Steer, Kier, whatever his name is as well.
Who cares, dear?
Two
Oh
Kier
my
Steer.
God. You
This is
have
the
to give
guy,
the
by the
Brits
way, that
credit. You
this is
have
the guy. Huh?
you have to give the Brits credit. They always come up with some sort of catch line, punch line. They always do it.
Yeah,
Um,
but I mean, this two Kier, two two tier steer Kier. I mean, you can make so many. I mean, I'm seeing so many different means. But what's it coming out of? Well, we'll get into that later. We won't mention it now, but there's a reason why he's been called it. And it's not because he wears glasses or, he's got grey hair or anything like that. There's a reason why. Let's find out why Elon Musk, the owner of X, um, why did he claim that civil war was inevitable in England?
okay. Why did you claim that civil war was inevitable in England? Okay. Because basically Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, picks up on algorithms. Okay. This
Of
is what
course.
he's telling me. And they're picking up on conversation and volatile conversation. What
Mm.
is the biggest thing that's being talked about right now? And it's about sort of they're measuring it in all sorts of ways, and they're measuring the region, that particular region. They can do whatever they want to with this information, right?
Of
They
course, yeah.
can narrow it down to the UK. Okay, now we're focusing in on what is the hot topic in the UK. Well, it's about how people feel. A majority of the people using Twitter talking about this from the UK are saying exactly what he is telling the prime minister.
Yeah.
Let's go to war. We're not, that's what he's picking up on. So he's just basically telling Starmer,
Yeah,
without telling him,
he's giving
without
Starmer the heads up, but obviously Starmer doesn't, either is following a different agenda or will not listen and will just double down in the violence against that. The problem is, look, all these social media platforms have one purpose. Well, actually, they have two or three, but there's one purpose mainly, right? They're information gatherers. Okay, they're there to grab information, every little bit of every information. Facebook is who who do you connect with, all that. They're all they all grab the information. And then what do they do with it? Well, they might sell it to marketing people. They might do all sorts of stuff, Now, since the woke agenda a few years back, the big platforms like Facebook, Google, which is Twitter, not Twitter, YouTube, and Twitter as it was, all started heavily censoring certain kinds of information. And so what happened is, if it didn't fit the narrative of the day, of whatever that narrative, be it COVID, be it war in the Middle East, whatever it was, it doesn't matter. Those comments were not allowed. They basically, and you got banned or shadow banned or whatever. Now, that's still the case in YouTube and Google stuff, and it's still the case in Facebook. Not as bad as it was, but it still is. So when Musk bought Twitter, one of the things that he firstly did was he fired 90% of the employees because they were there just for, stopping things happening, and Twitter now has become, in a very short order of time, the de facto information social network for the planet. It was a very smart move of him to do that. Now, of course, he could sell advertising. He could get people. I think if I was a marketeer and an advertiser and I wanted to do a campaign, I think Twitter would be one of my first choices now, because you literally can get everywhere. Now, on the other side of it, they understand the geolocation of all the people that are posting. So, there are people in Guatemala that don't know this is going on in the UK and therefore are not talking about it. But, everybody in the UK knows what's going on in the UK, so they talk about it.
and
And
that's
I bet if we went back a month or two when the World Cup was on, we could have picked up, information about football from every nation that they thought they were going to win or how good their team did. It's that kind of thing. We are, as I keep saying to people, we are in the information age. Information is king. What he has is king. He's got the king platform for everything. And if all of this stuff is pulling out that people are upset and don't like all these migrants coming in and being given everything, then that's being collated together and he's now reporting that to the government. And instead of the government saying, thank you very much, you've done our job. No, they are trying to, shoot the messenger. They don't want to listen to the message. They want to, shut down Elon Musk. Well, good luck with that one. I mean, they're going to ban the platform. They're going to do this. They don't want the information. That's the way these governments deal with it. They double down. They don't address the problem. They just double down against the people who are pointing things out. And that's very, very dangerous, because if they are not seen to do anything about it, the ordinary working man in the street and working woman in the street, they see this kind of thing. They see what's going on, and everybody has their own breaking levels and tension levels and everything. And, collectively together, this is not good. How is this good for the UK?
well, it's not, because it could sustain substantial economic damage
Yeah.
overall. Really, if it does, if these things continue, or if there is an outbreak of civil war, um then businesses will be closed, government will not be collecting tax money, public transport, things will be shut down, people will be forced on a curfew, forced inside their homes. The police can't handle this level of having to deal with this level of scrutinizing everybody. I mean, they did during COVID. I've had friends during COVID that were on patrol, and their job in the UK, right, was to search their shopping bags of people coming out of the shops. And if they were found to not have necessity items in their shopping bags, according to police opinion, right, they were issued a fine. So, they were having a heyday, and it was an easy way to collect a load of money. So if somebody walking from the shop, it has, lager and cigarettes in their shopping bags, well, that's not deemed a necessity item. So here you go. Here's an on the spot fine. And it, it's very hard to police when you shut down the country. You need a lot of manpower. And I think that they were able to scare people into shutting down over the what. But I don't know if people are willing to take that again, especially if it's like a national security problem. So let's ask, are you planning, I'm asking Starmer, are you planning to shut down the UK if this doesn't stop? No, we will control it. He just said to me he will control it. We will. How are you going to deploy the military? No, he's going to try and control this problem with the police and the police only. Well, good luck with that, because I saw loads of my police friends posting on Facebook yesterday. Oh, what great. I get to turn up with hardly any response team officers to police the streets of London because now they're being pulled off on national security issues, right? They're riot gear police. Now they've been pulled away, and now we've only got 2 cars out on patrol. So let's ask him this question. Do you realize that you're taking the resources of response team officers in and around the borough of, in and around the city of London to respond to this level of, protesting? He's aware of that. And how long do you think it can sustain itself? He says, he just said to me, the problem will be resolved by the end of this week. That's what he just told me. So let's
let's put him out 3 weeks and find out if that's true.
Well, let's ask him. How are you planning to resolve this issue? Heavy duty policing. Heavy duty policing. So are you saying that every single person on that side of the protest is going to be policed? Absolutely. We will not stand for it. Okay. Are you saying, so what about the retaliation? What about the other protesters? There's the peaceful protesters that are also getting in clashes with this lot, and then you've got the Muslim protesters that are clashing. So what about the other groups of protesters? No. Are you only going to focus on the anti-immigration protesters? That's the plan. And how are you going to do that? By giving them all tickets and fines.
Okay, well, there in itself, we can understand why he's got the nickname Kier, because he's basically saying that he is doing one level of tier of policing for one part of the community, and one level of policing or non-policing for another part of the community, or even a minority. A minority of English people are going to put up with that kind of. He's delusional. I mean, he is.
So let's ask him, right? Because that's his personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions as we are asking this question or these questions. And I'm going to give today's date, Tuesday, the 6th of August, and it's now 11:30 a.m. Central. Okay, so let's ask him. Are you not going to just find everybody in the streets in order to just stop the chaos and make everybody go home? No, only, and he's pointing to them, only this particular band of protesters. Why? Because they caused the trouble in the first place. Now, this goes into what Elon Musk had posted on that article which is, some jokes and some memes. So it's like the British police are coming to arrest you for what you posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
So let's ask here. Are you monitoring the social media accounts of people associated with it? Oh, yes. He says, oh, yes, we are. He's very determined about this. And what is going on? Are those people going to receive fines and arrest? Are they going to be arrested for posting on social media in support or in favoritism or showing favoritism or being, in with this in with the people, whether they show up or not to protest? Are they also going to be the ones in trouble? Now, he's saying he's working with Facebook to get their accounts taken down. Okay. What about other platforms? Instagram. What about you can't do, see, that's another reason he doesn't like Elon Musk. Okay, so let's ask Elon Musk. Are you going, if you were asked by Kier Starmer to take down the social media platforms, I'm laughing because already Elon's making faces at me as I'm asking him this question. Are you willing to do that? No, because that is a preventative of free speech. He just said, okay.
Yep,
So
right.
Kier Starmer, are you currently working with these social media platforms to get these accounts taken down? Yes, but he also has some sort of way to intercept these posts so that the person may think that they're posting, but nobody's actually seeing the post.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's all computer stuff. So, anybody thinks that these things are safe platforms. No, they're not. People, I'm sure the security services or the intelligence services can read and do all of these things. I mean, people share everything on these platforms. If everybody had to write everybody a letter by pen and post it, none of this, they wouldn't know. You know what I mean? They just, everybody posts it. I'm going down the pub tonight. Do you want to come? You put it on your platform. Yeah, I'm coming. Okay. Well, now we know where you're going to be in the pub tonight. You've already said we don't have to do anything. You're there. People give up so much information on these platforms. It's scary. Absolutely scary. You know? Um,
It's true. I stopped posting a couple of years ago. I just stopped posting. I may ask questions in investment groups and all that, but I stopped posting and I rarely comment. I just don't. I just don't, because people were commenting on, it's just silly. It's just so silly.
okay. Well, we got to put these guys out for a week. Sorry, a month, haven't we? 3, 4 weeks.
Oh, yeah, but let's ask this question. Are you going to find people on social media or arrest them for posting potential protests online? We're thinking about it. They will be investigated. Okay. So, do you have a
See,
dedicated unit working on that? No, they're expecting cooperation from people like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, the heads of these companies, to submit the information, a full report of information, over to the UK government.
Well, hopefully Elon Musk will tell them where to shove it, and Zuckerberg will probably comply because he's a globalist.
Okay, so I think, you think 3 weeks? I think that's a bit too far out.
Well, he said a week. I mean, all right, well, 2, 3 weeks. I mean, all right, we'll put him out 2 weeks then.
Okay, so that would be what date?
Well, let's put him out till the 20. Put him out to the 21st
Okay.
of August. 21st of August.
August 21st, August 21st, 2024, 2024, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. What would you like to know?
Well, 3 weeks ago. Sorry, 2 weeks ago. Who are we talking to? Kier or
Here.
Starmer? Okay, Keir Starmer said that he would have all this sorted out, all the problems and everything within a week. Has that happened?
No.
Oh, what a surprise. Okay. What has happened then? Has it got worse?
Has it gotten worse? No, it's under control, but there's still a lot of protests. It's just not the violent, angry mob.
Right. Has he any idea why people are protesting? Does he understand why people are protesting?
Do you understand why people are protesting? That's irrelevant. That's what you just said.
Yeah, well, these the
It's about
arrogance,
order
the
and control.
arrogance. He doesn't care. I mean, the arrogance of these people. It doesn't matter why they protest. I mean, he should not be Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, should he? I mean,
Well, the other thing that's coming through is they're naming and shaming all the protesters. So if you are a business person, if you are a reputable person, if you have a job and all that, it's to put public pressure onto the protesters. They are
mm,
naming and shaming. They're using that as a tool. So they're basically able to destroy people's lives for protesting. I'm not
awesome.
talking about the mobsters. Okay, I'm not talking about them, right? I'm talking about the regular protests that are on this anti-immigration protest, and they're using that as pressure to destroy their lives for even taking a stand against the immigration. That's what he
So, in
just.
other words, by not supporting something that they're fundamentally against, they're going to have their lives ruined.
And a lot of people will have had this happen. So communities will turn against those, otherwise
Well,
seeming.
I suppose the thing is, though, if there are so many people in one community and they're all named and shamed to the point where, 67% of the people in the community are all on the list, if you like, well, I don't think that'll work then because they are it's almost like a badge of honor. They'll want to be on the list almost.
But he's basically telling me like doctors, police officers, nurses, people, teachers, people that are providing sort of services in the communities, they are going to be plastered on the local papers. They will be plastered in the national papers so that the pressure of the community turns against them. I mean, they can basically ruin your life in that way. You can lose your job for whatever reason. You may even have to go into hiding. So they're planning to use that as a tactic to crush these people.
So instead of dealing with the legitimate protests and the legitimate reasons for protest, they literally are going to crush the protesters and the protest.
Do you believe the UK is headed into civil war? Not now. So 2 weeks out, not now. Why? Because they're managing the problem. So at this point, they've blacklisted them on social media. Social media, apart from Twitter, is compliant. Social media is basically suspending accounts of anybody under the guise of inciting hatred and violence, even for minor comments on it. And I'm getting very strongly that they're going to use the people in the communities to crush the livelihoods of other people if they're prominent members of society, as in like service industry people, maybe somebody who owns a business, maybe somebody who's a teacher. That's very
So this
very
is
strong.
basically Communist Party. I mean, this is what they do in China. This is what they used to do, things like that, but nowhere near sophisticated in Soviet Russia, in Communist Russia, which of course it isn't now, but they do that name and shame in China. This is they don't deal with the problem. They do not want any kind of dissent from the narrative. So if you're against it in any little way, big way, whatever, um, I mean, he's building up a powder keg there, I can tell you.
So
Um,
let's
so, what
move.
does he think about the rumors of the potential of general strikes happening with people just withdrawing their labor and going, well, we won't work?
So let me move him back into now. Okay, so what do you think about the rumors of strikes? Well, if they're government strikes, they will take immediate action. That nobody, will be allowed to strike. You have to have the grounds, legal grounds to strike, right? And you have to strike with warning. and you have to follow a legal procedure to legally strike, he's saying, and he's a lawyer, he would know that. Okay, not saying he's a good one or a bad one. I'm just saying he's a lawyer, he would know. And they would have to follow a certain protocol. And their grounds for striking would not be legal. So they could then lose their jobs for not turning up to work. And he would try to facilitate that those people would be fired. Well, he said the word sacked, but fired the American audience.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah. What an awesome prime minister they've elected.
Well, but Fishy Rishi, see, I love these names you all give them, right? Fishy Rishi did nothing, and I guess they thought, of course, there was now the American audience may not know this, the global audience, that 3 little girls were killed in a school program. Somebody came in and they're protecting the identity of the suspect. Is that right, Mr. Shakespeare? So let's ask him, are you planning to change the immigration policy? Absolutely not. Is this not going to make you scrutinize the immigration policy? No. Are you thinking of changing the immigration policy? No. Are you going to listen to the people that are the protesters? No. No.
Are you why have you okay, will there be any kind of referendum or vote in Parliament to leave the European Court of Human Rights, considering that the United Kingdom is not in the EU?
Will there be any sort of referendum for the UK to leave or abandon the European Court of Human Rights? Now that is under consideration. That's the only way. He's telling me that's the only way they can stop this, right? So he's saying from a legal perspective, it's not about focusing on immigration. It's about focusing on disconnecting ourselves from the European Court of Human Rights.
Correct. Well, he's 100% correct on that. And he would know, like you say, he's a lawyer. Okay, but he has a huge majority in Parliament. Why doesn't he just get somebody to put a bill up and then support it and then vote it out? I mean, if Parliament votes we're out of the European Court of Human Rights, we're out.
If Parliament, why don't you have a Labour majority, you have the majority, why don't you just pass a bill or create a bill, pass a bill, and have it pushed through by the majority to leave the European Court of, because that's inhumane.
So he's just contradicted what he said a minute ago by it's under consideration. Now he says it's inhumane.
Well, he said, okay, let's ask him, why do you say that's inhumane? Because we can't make snap decisions like that. It has to be very researched and carefully considered. It's not just a knee-jerk decision.
Well, but we're not in the United Kingdom is not in the European Union. The majority of the people voted for Brexit to get out of the EU. They didn't want any part of the EU as an institution, the European Union as an institution, not Europe as a current countries in Europe. And so why do we need to be bound by a court that has nothing to do with us?
Why do we need to be bound by a court that has nothing to do with us? It's the law.
Yes, but we can change the law. The law is only the law until it's changed.
The law is only the law until it's changed. And he says he's speaking to me like we're interviewing him on primetime television. And that's definitely under consideration, and it's something we can work towards in due time. But right now, the problem is stopping the protesters, stopping the upheaval, the chaos, the maltreatment of immigrants, and to restore peace and order. And then later on down the road, if it's necessary, we can definitely revisit this. But it's these
people are not really immigrants. They're actually asylum seekers. And that's the legal definition. That's why they get. I'm just reading here on the government website what you can get. asylum support, what you'll get. You can ask for somewhere to live, cash allowance, or both as an asylum seeker, housing. You will be given somewhere to live if you need it. This could be a flat, a house, a hostel, or bed and breakfast. You cannot choose where you live, and it's unlikely you'll get to live in London, southeast England. Cash support. You will usually get £49.18 for each person in your household. This will help you pay for things that you need, like food, clothing, and toiletries. Your allowance will be loaded onto a debit card, an Aspen card, each week. You will be able to use the card to get cash from a cash machine. Healthcare. You will get free National Health Service healthcare, such as to see a doctor or get a hospital treatment. You will also get free prescription for medicine, free dental care for your teeth, free eyesight, and help paying for glasses. That is enshrined in UK law, backed up by the European Court of Human Rights. Because these people are not coming in as a migrant, they're coming in as asylum seekers. And because of that, they have to be given all of this. Yeah.
So let's ask him this question. Do you believe that the majority of the people coming in are genuine asylum seekers? We know they're not. They're economic migrants, but we have to treat them fairly and take them on their word, because if we send them back and something should happen to them, well, then they're responsible.
Right. Well, unfortunately, legally, he is correct. And then why is he correct? Well, because of the human court of the human justice, or whatever the court is. If we weren't part of that, we're not bound by that. Other countries like Poland, Russia, Hungary, I believe, they get the migrants in, they send them straight back.
So the big issue really is, I guess, with the protesters. Do the protesters know? Let's grab them. I'm going to grab the protesters that are anti-immigration protesters at the moment. Are you aware that the only reason that the people coming in on the orange dinghies or whatever are coming in because of this law with the European Court of Human Rights? No, they're immediately pointing to Starmer.
Right, but I mean, in the interest of fairness and balance, Starmer, who's a lawyer who damn well knows these things, we are bound. England is bound by the Court of Europe, or whatever it's called. I keep forgetting it. European Justice, Human Rights, or whatever.
ECHR. Listen.
ECHR, yeah, ECHR, yeah.
I
Now
had to
we're
study
bound
it.
by that. America is not. Canada is not. And there are other countries that are. Russia's certainly not. We are.
But the US has adopted the same philosophy as what the UK is doing. So they're trying to process people through the system, right?
Yeah, but in America, as we found out from our probe with Kamala Harris, they are classed as economic migrants, and as such, that's a different thing. So they have to be processed. I mean, yes, okay, it's a different spin, but they're actually calling them economic migrants. In other words, come here. Yes, you want to work for a better life. Yeah, come here. These people are supposedly claiming, asylum from, war-torn countries and things like that, but they're not. They're not. They literally are economic migrants coming over under the guise, under the color of law. The color of law is that they are pretending to be asylum seekers, and Starmer has said himself he knows that they're not.
Okay, so
and yet he has to deal with them as if they are.
Okay, let's ask him this. So why, if you know that they're economic migrants and not asylum seekers, how come you're not immediately turning them around? Well, by law, he can't. But also the other issue is they can't prove who they are and where they came from, and what they're telling the UK is false information. They can't.
No, because they throw all their documents, whatever documents they've got. I mean, there's so many videos of these guys just launching their documents into the English Channel, They just throw all their documents away and basically come in and say, I'm claiming asylum. And I get it. I mean, they have to take these people at their word, even though they know they're lying.
But
But in knowing and proving, I mean, look, he's a lawyer,
you
so
can't, but hold on, you can't blame the immigrants, right, or the asylum seekers, because this option is available to them. So where they're trying to set, them on fire in hotels and they're using violence against them, legally this option is available. So they're using the
well, yeah,
legal.
but don't forget they are being brought here. Somebody, there's an agenda to bring these people here because these people did not come, they are paid, or traffickers are paid. There's a lot of criminal gangs that are being paid a lot of money, which is probably a bit more outside the scope of this, about this probe. But how did they get to the border of France, I mean, and they don't stay in France because France won't give them much. I mean, a few do, but most come here because of the unbelievable generous things that we give these people, you know?
Mm.
And it's not like we're a rich country. We can't afford it. I mean, look, we've got army veterans that sleep on the street. We've got homeless people who don't get any of this stuff. But of course, they're not asylum seekers, and they can't because they're born here. So they're forgotten about. That's another thing that people are not happy about.
And don't forget how long those queues are for the NHS, right?
Yeah, and these
Don't
people
forget
probably
how
get.
long those are. I mean, seriously, my mother-in-law waited
Mm,
7 years for a knee replacement surgery. My father-in-law waited 4 years just for an x-ray for his chronic shoulder pain. Yes, they
mm.
are in London. It depends where you are. I understand all that. But I think that trying to absorb, so let's ask him. Let's ask him. How is the NHS able to cope with this influx of asylum seekers? It can't. But they do have dedicated doctor surgeries that are willing to take them and to deal with them and to prescribe them medication, to give them the tests and everything that they need. What if they need specialist treatment? Well, then they join the queue. They join a queue. So they're in the queue too. Very complex situation, Mr. Shakespeare. I mean, but I wanted to, it's interesting. Really, maybe Elon Musk should have said, actually, mate, you know, according to our algorithms and our data and our research, we believe that this is where the UK may be headed. Instead of, he is now just being seen as firing off, popping off at the gob, he's gobby, right? And that he's stirring up trouble. So let's ask
Well,
Elon Musk, why did you not say, according to the data and the research? He goes, because it's none of his business.
that's right. It is none of his business. This is a private company, and Elon Musk is the owner of it. So, anyway,
All right.
right.
Well, I guess we'll stop this one here.
Yep.
It doesn't look like, do these let's ask Thatcher real quick. Oh, God. Uh, Hey, Mags. She's been on standby. Um, will they get anywhere with these protests? No, it's going to take several years for the UK to even consider leaving the European Court of Human Rights. They're too far gone.
Yeah.
So if you were to take a vote of, should we even put this option on the table or bring this into a referendum, the majority of the people, as it stands, according to Thatcher, would not go for it. It's going to need a radical, she says, a radical. So somebody who's going to be unpopular and doesn't actually care what they say or do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll stop this one here. Thank you so much.